Hi guys, you are at rotation station 1, and at each of these stations on each day that we do this, you're going to be creating a mini piece of artwork using maybe a new process or a new skill or new material. So at this station you're going to be creating a layered collage. A collage is going to be when you take different materials, usually different like papers and fabrics, and you are cutting them out and assembling them to create an interesting composition and then gluing them all back together. You are going to be creating this collage on a piece of Bristol board, which is just good paper to do like mixed media stuff on. So everybody's going to have a piece of Bristol board to start their collage on. The first thing I want you guys to do is pick one of the samples that are already at your table. Since we're doing this as just media studies and practice and experimentation, I've already picked some printed line drawings for you, and you're going to use those as templates to create a skin, okay, a gel medium skin, which is what you'll be doing at this station. That skin we're going to be creating with Liquitex gloss gel medium, and this dries shiny and clear so that you can use this in a lot of different applications. It almost becomes sort of like a window cling, if you know what I'm talking about. They're sort of like reusable stickers that you can put on things. So this can be attached to a painting, to a drawing, to a collage in this case, to lots of different surfaces, 2D and 3D, because it's really flexible when it's finished, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. I was starting to create a piece. This is like basically like almost my background, middle ground of my piece, and I still have a couple extra things to add to it. I had this funky shaped Bristol board at home, so this is what I used. And later on you'll have a theme and meaning and narratives and focal points and all that for your own piece once we do another project proposal. But for now, you're going to go off of whatever line drawing you pick, the templates that are already supplied at the table. There's lines and patterns and floral and mechanical line drawings and all that kind of stuff. So for now you'll pick one of those, and then that kind of determines your theme for this piece. The first thing I want you guys to do is kind of alter your ground. So the first thing I did on this image, and I'll put some images on the slideshow at your table so you know what I'm talking about, is I used pastels to add some color to the background that we're kind of going to go with my theme. Okay, I have for the other example I'm about to show you, I have a floral example. I've also done a wood grain example, and then sort of like a little travel dashed line that's like an airplane pattern on another piece. So this piece, I used stuff from my past travel experiences. So this is actually sort of an abstracted from a aerial map, like looking down on the Seine River in Paris. And then I have these little like grommets that I put in the paper that kind of show where the Eiffel Tower, Saint-Chapelle, the Louvre, and the Arc de Triomphe are. And I used a colored pencil to kind of like, if you're looking above the city, it kind of looks like a grid where they have the road systems in between all the different architecture. So I did sort of an abstracted pattern element. So you're basically thinking of like your elements of art. You're adding some color, you're adding a little bit of like drawn or painted elements to your background, and you need to have some type of paper collage down. So I'm going to have some tissues, book pages, and things like that scattered about the table, and you need to kind of glue that stuff down on your page. You'll be working on this while your transparent skin that we're going to use on the collage is drying. So I'm going to show you how to do that next. Just wanted to show you what we're doing to the Bristol board first. So I'm going to move my camera. You're going to have stations, let's see how I can show this to you best, maybe like that. You're going to have stations where you have plastic from a page protector with some tape taped down to drawing boards, okay? And at each table there's one drawing board, and there's one piece of plastic for each person at the table. For this, because we want to go quick, we're going to have these templates like this, different things. You can pick which one you want. The ones that are more detailed like this are going to take a little more time, and we want to try to finish a piece of mini art a day, so just be mindful of that and watch the clock. But I wanted to slide that back behind it to kind of show you. You'll use one of the paint pens that I have in the box here, or the puff paint tube, and you're going to go and create a copy of your lines, okay? The imagery that's on your gel medium skin that you're creating right here should be secondary to the focal point. The focal point should be drawing or painting or collaging that you created, and then this is like a secondary kind of focal point. So this is not the center of attention on your artwork. So be thinking about this. This is pretty detailed and realistic for what we're talking about, but something that's just like a very simple wood grain pattern, or even dots or dashes like a shape paint-based pattern element is not necessarily going to continue the narrative if it's really abstract, just like dots and shapes and lines and things. But that's kind of what we're talking about here. It's going to add to the art, but not give the whole purpose of the artwork. So when you draw on this, the paint pens do kind of beat up a little bit, but it's not too bad. It'll stick and it'll dry to the plastic. You have to do this first and then wait for it to dry. If your lines are thin, they do dry pretty quick, but you want to tap it and make sure. You can also speed this up with the hair dryer, get it to dry a little quickly. You want to tap it and make sure it's totally dry before you do the next step. The next step is that you are going to get some of this Liquitex gloss gel medium, and this stuff is really expensive, so whenever no one's using it, make sure that the cap is on the jar and that we're not wasting it. So you'll use the palette knife that's already out there to get a dollop of gel medium and then sit it on your piece, and you're going to use a card to take the gel medium and swipe it across. You don't want to press down really hard. You're letting it float and creating a skin anywhere where you have parts of your drawing. As soon as you put that gel medium down, you're re-wetting your ink. It's not permanent. So if you keep going over the same spot quite a few times, you're going to re-wet the ink and it's going to move around and it's going to smear. So you want to be able to float the gel medium over the top. It'll look sort of milky, but it's going to dry clear. And then you can just reload as necessary, and you can change and go different angles. That's fine. You can swipe from the bottom or from the top or from the side. And you want to try to get it as smooth as you possibly can get it, but not skip any parts of your drawing. So I think I've almost got it. Okay. So then we have to let this dry again. So you're going to take your palette knife, scrape off any excess, unless somebody's right behind you and they're going to use the card. Scrape all of that back into the jar, and then the lid goes back on the jar. If you're the last person using this stuff, get a damp paper towel, wipe it off so that we don't have a bunch of gel medium drying on the tools, because then they won't work in a smooth way the next time. So once you have this step done, you're going to have to let this dry, and while this is drying, you're going to go and alter your Bristol board. So that's when you can decide, okay, I've already picked my imagery, my line drawing. I know what my gel medium skin is going to be. So then maybe you can pick color schemes or pattern elements or what kind of papers you want to collage down. You could do like blackout poetry on book pages, or go and crisscross out different words so that you're keeping certain words to kind of tell the story with your piece. You're just making this up on the fly because you came in today not knowing what your theme was going to be. Once your gel medium is dry, and I'm going to switch out this board so I can show you what it'll look like. You will have a crystal clear gel medium skin. So this one doesn't have any paper underneath it. And this one is wood grain that I did with brown paint pen, and then this is that like sort of dashed like travel line that you would see like on a map or something like that. So once it's totally clear, and I let these just dry on their own, but you can kind of like speed up the drying time with a hair dryer. Put it on low. Don't put it right up in its business, because then you're going to make like patterns in the gel medium and it won't be as strong all the way through. So keep it far away and keep it on low. But once it's totally dry, you can take the edge of the gel medium and start to peel it up off of the page protector. And then you have this totally transparent, flexible skin that has your design, your drawing embedded in it. I haven't tried it yet, but I would think that you could probably also use like acrylic paint, thin, and paint something and also have it on here. That would be something to experiment when we get closer to doing like our project proposals. So this does not go with my Paris themed sheet, but I'm going to use it just because I want to finish the video. So I've got my Bristol board, and I've added like my background color, some pattern elements, and some collage layer. Okay, those are the requirements for this before I use my skin on it. Then you've got to go in with this and decide like, where am I going to attach this? I might decide like maybe I want to have a little bit of this in between these two papers that I have. There's so much glare. Maybe I want to have this just in this area in between that paper and that paper. So I might go in and like scoot this so I'm using just the least amount as possible. And then I could go on with a Sharpie and draw where the border of that is, so it looks like it's underneath the papers. Draw the border on both sides, and then I can get a cutting mat and an X-Acto knife and cut it, or just cut it with scissors. That'd probably be easier. Then you're using a little bit of gel medium underneath this, and you can use the little plastic container that you have in your kit. The little plastic jar is gel medium also. Use that in a paintbrush, and you'll just collage it down. So you're putting some gel medium underneath, and then you put this on top, get all the air bubbles squeezed out, and then that's collaged down. I would probably say, in general, it's nice to keep things sort of balanced in a way where you have something showing up multiple times to create unity. So I'd probably do it here, and then I might cut out some little shapes and like fill some of these shapes in the pattern over here. So cut out little gel medium skins that just fill some of this, so it shows up here and here. I think that is what I'll do, actually. Then the last thing to finish this off is creating some type of drawing on top of this. So I decided that I'm going to draw, I think I'm going to turn it this way actually, and I'm going to draw a line drawing that sort of looks like a blueprint architecture plan of a cathedral that we visited in Paris. And then this will be a vertical finished piece. So that's your goal for this station, is to create a layered collage with utilizing a transparent skin that introduces some type of linear design into your piece. And you have to at least have one paper collage, an area where you've used the gel medium skin, introduce color and pattern, and then come up, like, just develop your theme with this one piece. Okay?